This is Brian with ScreenFiles.com and Trail into Reaction. I want to thank the people who follow this channel because I'm not a big name. No one knows who I am, frankly, but that's okay because I'm not sure I'm doing this for the notoriety. I do this because I want to show my technical prowess, but also because I think when you care for something and when you invest the time to make it as best you can, it shows. I may not be whomever, and that's okay. I'm not doing it for that reason. If you like my content, please subscribe. If you don't. It's all good. What I'm looking at today is the trailer for Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile. Now this is interesting though, because first off, it has nothing to do with Dead or Alive. I get to know your name. But that's okay. What it does have is Joe Berlinger, who's an interesting person. Reason being, if you look at Conversations with the Killer, the Ted Bundy tapes, which is currently on Netflix, who's the executive producer? Joe Berlinger. He's directing Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile, which is about Ted Bundy. The subject of Conversations with a Killer, the Ted Bundy tapes, is Ted Bundy, which is in the title. In any case, Berlinger seems to have a fascination with this man. I don't know what other connections he has to Bundy's story, but he clearly is interested in it. Now keep in mind, Berlinger was a documentary director originally. He's done some features, one of which was Blair Witch 2, Book of Shadows, which is so vastly underrated. It's a really good movie. I like that movie a lot. But his original point of departure was documentaries. And so he's doing a movie on Ted Bundy, which, having not seen it, I have problems with. First off, I avoid movies based on historical figures or people that have played a significant role in the life of this country in the past. Reason being, movies distort reality. Anyone who watches a movie and claims to understand anything at all is an idiot. And as my evidence, here's an image of Ted Bundy. Notice something about him, and this is important. He's a relatively scrawny man, if those images do him justice at all. He's not a particularly robust-looking person. Now, let's look at some images of Zac Efron. This man is built like a brick shithouse. And while facially, there is actually some resemblance, physically, there is none. Efron is too well built for this role. And you might be saying to yourself, oh, that's not a big deal. That's a minor detail. It is a big deal, especially when people take what movies show as anything approaching reality. People will think that's how Bundy looked. And again, superficial facial resemblance notwithstanding, that is not at all how Bundy looks. Bundy is not built like a brick shithouse, as the images I showed you earlier testified to. So, this could be a great movie, by the way, and Joe Berlinger is a talented man. But this way of distorting the reality of these situations by casting individuals that don't at all physically or vaguely physically resemble the people you're talking about is a disturbing trend. Well, I shouldn't call it a trend because it happens quite often. And the reason why I avoid movies of this nature, they distort reality. It's different for people who actually investigate who Ted Bundy was, who can at least go, Ted Bundy looks nothing like Zac Efron, or very little like Zac Efron, and they can move on from there. Most people are not going to do that. Most people recognize the name Ted Bundy only from a vague recollection, if that. And that's a problem. That being said, rant aside, let's look at the trailer for Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile.
That guy's been staring at you all night.
What do you say we get out of here?
What is it about this guy? When I feel his love, I feel like I'm on top of the world.
There are things you don't know
Hi, officer. I think I must be lost.
that will shock you beyond your worst nightmare. I am innocent. You don't actually believe this garbage, do you?
It's in all the papers, Ted.
Monkey! Oh!
How did his name get on that suspect list? I want to come see you.
I was really hoping you'd say that.
This case is about catching a monster.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am that innocent suspect.
You are skating on thin ice, partner.
The media's convicted Ted before he's had his day in court.
I'm gagged, and you're not.
I wonder whether he did it or not.
I'm more popular than Disney World.
Did you do these things?
Absolutely not. Let me get back to plotting my escape here.
And I think I understand what Joe Berlinger is doing with this movie, but it does the subject matter a disservice. When you cast someone who looks like Zac Efron, the dude, this is gonna sound gay, but the dude looks fucking awesome. Why are they casting this man in this role? Again, I get it. And if you look at the trailer, he seems to be saying that they wanted someone who women in particular, but that's the hard part the movie doesn't seem to want to tackle. Namely, how was a man not that well built, not that physically imposing, able to, if it's accurate, to have such a draw on women? That's an interesting question and would be a fascinating movie. Unfortunately, this movie does not seem to be answering that question, if the trailer is at all accurate. This is Brian with Trailer Into Reaction. Peace.